That's big of you. Yeah, Glenville. They give the tax dollars, and then they also get money back because they're saving money. Now, this is a way they're going to split the returns. So in other words, you know, the city and the private investors, they're also getting some of the tax credits as well. But if I can explain this like you're struggling with bills. Someone shows up and says, you know what? I'm going to reduce your energy costs by 20%. Really? I'm broke. That's great. What do I have to do? Well, you don't have to do anything except agree. You agree to pay me all the money I'm going to save you. That's great. Now, wait a minute. How much money are you going to save me? Oh, tons. And you just pay a fraction of that. So you're making money because you're going to be saving energy. Yeah. Wow. And do I have to go out and buy the solar panels? No. Really? No, you don't have to do that. Well, I'm going to have to install them. No, we'll do it. You don't. You just sit here on your couch and rake in the money. That's when my grandfather would have said, you can't BS a BSer. This is not possible. What you don't know is that the same group that grabbed your tax money, got the solar panels, now coming to you saying, check it out. But will there be any savings in the first place? Let me play the president. Will there going to be any savings?
Under my plan of a cap and trade system, electricity rates would necessarily skyrocket.
Okay, so on one hand, they're forcing all the energy prices on up. On the other hand, they're giving cities and universities free green stuff. And if you're lucky enough to be a private individual and you're not too big to fail, your tax dollars not only paid for the cities and the university solar panels, but then you and your home will get the opportunity to buy the solar panels. Yeah, you don't get them for free. No, just the cities and the universities. They get all the labor unions and stuff, but you can buy yours. We'll still hire the labor unions to put them in. It's great. Now, there's about $6 billion pumped into this Ponzi scheme through the Homestar bill. It's already went through the Senate, I believe. The Homestar bill. This bill is set up to give you rebates for green improvements. Well, all I got to do is weather strip. Yeah. Well, you get some money back if you weather strip, but if you want the really big savings, you have to hire a third party, an approved contractor. Oh, man. One of these guys, they'll help you do it with the help of the Shore Bank. Isn't that great? Well, I'm sure those private contractors will have nothing to do with any of these people or labor unions. Nothing. It'll all be on the up and up. We'll show you some more of this scam. And it's coming. It's coming. Crime Inc. when we come back. We're talking about Shore Bank and this scheme, this Ponzi scheme that we found over the weekend. And I brought David Buckner in because he's an adjunct professor at Columbia University, president of Bottom Line Training and Consulting, and can help make sense of this. Walk us through this so I can understand.
This is kind of a fabricated private equity placement.
Okay.
You bring in investors, you have the government, you have the city. They all funnel money into it. Okay. In the end, though, all of the criteria for the fund set by the government. All of the results, the money that comes back, you may get some money back here, but the money that goes into the city, it is used for workforce development and the criteria set again by the government.
So hang on. Energy Efficiency Fund, this box here.
Big box, biggest pool of money.
This is, and that's Shore Bank.
That's
managed by Shore Bank.
That's managed by Shore Bank.
Okay, that's the bank that everybody is just saved.
It's a bucket.
Okay, so now
all the criteria for that is set by the government.
Okay, that's actually just tax cuts or tax credits.
Tax credits, stimulus.
Stimulus money. Once that money goes away, is this sustainable?
No, you can't sustain it because the money's not coming in.
Okay.
They're hoping, the dialogue is they're hoping that private investors will flood this because they can find it viable.
No.
But if it's not viable before, it's probably not viable after.
Right. Okay. So the money goes to the city, but the return goes to the city, but that goes up to the contractors.
You actually have return here little bits of return here goes up to the contractors in the form of workforce development.
Tell me about that.
Well, the criteria is that they're going to be taking people who are, there's a criteria of homeless, those that are less advantaged, even those that have been incarcerated, where discrimination for employment may have been in the past.
Historically disadvantaged or underrepresented people, homeless, lacking a GED, and having a criminal record.
Yeah,
this is exactly what Van Jones said he was going to do.
That's what they'll fund to assure that they get jobs.
And those go, that's a union.
That will go into the contractors underneath the umbrella of union support. Because the union's going to bring them in and educate them. I'm not sure how they
will. This is Venezuela. I mean, this is what Venezuela does. What Venezuela does, he's more direct, is he pays off the poor, and the poor is his little army. That's his army that keeps Venezuela.
This is not a true business model.
Right.
This is a fascinating model which is akin to some of the movements of Enron when they started moving things. This here is not sustainable on its own. It is being created under the guise of private equity, under the purpose of energy efficiency, great words to use, but in the end, not a viable model.
Tell me about the host college.
These, up here, as they receive this, the energy is owned and delivered to the college, to an entity, okay, but they own it. So if they can't pay, and by the way, most of them don't have to qualify. The purpose of it is to assure that you don't discriminate based upon ability to pay. That's kind of like the asset-backed security. This is like
you don't need a proof of
to be able to buy a home.
Right.
This is what we experienced with subprime. So these could be subprime borrowers. In other words, subprime buyers of energy. So if they're subprime buyers,
so not only will they control the money, they'll control the unions. But this box in the center, this Shore Bank, also controls energy. They can shut you off.
They can shut you off if it's not financially viable. They're going to determine how much you get. And they're going to determine how much needs to be shut off. Even if they don't control the bigger picture, they can't. It's not a viable model. It doesn't work.
I don't see a problem with any of this. And I wonder why Shore Bank was, it looks like an awful lot of money going to be funneled through.
It will show like it works for a season.
Yeah. Back in just a second. Thanks, David. Good to see you. Good to see you. Saturday morning, I had to speak to a group of people in Washington, D.C., and then I went to the Lincoln Memorial, the site where our Restoring Honor rally will be on August 28th. I was really moved by the location and the project ahead of us, and I recorded a little something I want to play for you. Where are these people like Jefferson and Adams and Washington and even Lincoln? Where are they? I am convinced that we haven't met them yet, but they're here. George Washington may appear in our own families. That's what the 828 idea is really all about, is to restore honor. We have to teach it. You can't just restore it overnight. You have to teach it. You have to learn it all over again. You have to have some examples. You have to be able to see somebody that is honorable. You have to be able to have a shining city on the hill that we're aiming for. And we hopefully will provide that. I want you to bring your kids. I want you to bring your kids. I want you to bring your family. I want you to bring your friends. I want you to bring your church. I want you to bring your neighbors. I want you to bring your coworkers. And you stand here. And you look at the examples that we're going to hold up for you. You show those people to your children. You teach these values to your children. At the end, you lean down and whisper into your son's ear or your daughter's ear, and you hold them tight and say, you can be the next George Washington. We used to say, you could be president of the United States today. Well, anybody can be president. Who wants to be president? Better yet, let's start telling our children, you can be George Washington. You could be Abraham Lincoln. You could be Thomas Jefferson. Make that pledge with us on 828.
Exposing the new international order and America's road to globalization. Tomorrow at 5 p.m.
I have to tell you, this one is, this is like conspiracy theory central, a new world order, but they're saying it. We'll show you how they're building it tomorrow night from New York. Good night, America.